Hey there, Naomi here, and today I want to talk to you all about advertising. Do you know what the best methods are to advertise your property? Are you aware of which ones will work for what types of property and which ones are a waste of time? Or are you just trying to figure out what all the options are? Whether you are using an agent or whether you're choosing to go it alone, promoting your property is absolutely crucial. Successful advertising leads to successful sales. So why is advertising such a big thing? Well, let me tell you. To put it simply, advertising puts potential buyers in the loop. It is essential exposure of your property, without which your buyers wouldn't even know what you had on offer. And the more exposure you get, the more potential buyers that will be getting to walk through the door at the inspections. And the more competition you get means that you have a greater chance of getting a higher sale price. You may have the best property in the world, but if no one knows about it, it's not going to sell. So in a nutshell, good advertising equals more potential buyers equals more profit in your pocket come sale day. So how can you gain more exposure for your property? Well, there are different methods both you and your agent can use to promote your property. And these include everything from online databases, local marketing, newspapers. Don't assume that just because we live in a digital age that the only relevant form of advertising is on the internet. The more traditional forms still have their part to play in spreading the word about your property. So here's a little bit more detail about the different forms of advertising you can use. So we naturally have our online databases. It's true that these days most people head straight to the internet when they're looking for the next property. That's why having your property on things like realestate.com.au or domain.com.au, it's a great way to gain a heads up of exposure. And it turns to heaps of interested buyers to get exposure for your property. It's super easy for buyers to pull it up on the website or on their app, on their phone, and flick through the photos, the floor plans, all the information that you have about your property, ready there waiting for them. Buyers can even, on these portals, they can even register their details and set up alerts so that if new listings, just like your property, come onto the market that meet their criteria, it's convenient and quick for them to have an alert come in to let them know that there is a property waiting for them. It's a win-win for you and a win-win for the potential buyer. Now, the other benefit of online advertising is that they have a super wide reach. Your property might be suited to young families as well as empty nesters. Advertising online is a great way to make sure that your net is cast far and wide to catch a variety of potential buyers. Now, the next category is printed listing. They say print is dead. I say not quite yet. Not in property anyway. If you have a real estate agent, then your property will most likely be featured in that agency's own magazine. And before you dismiss this one altogether, keep in mind that some of these magazines around our country have really strong readerships. Some of them have over 50,000 potential buyers reading them weekly. Now that is no small number. Then there are local newspapers to consider too. So that can reach an audience of people who might not be actively looking for a property. So your property might just pique their interest at the right time. So here's a fun fact. 81% of people reading the newspaper will read the real estate section even if they're not looking to purchase at that time. So those are some very promising stats. Another reason for newspaper ads is they can help you reach out to potentially older buyers that still prefer print over digital. And the last added benefit is that print advertising is a little bit more filtered, so buyers don't have as much choice as they do online. When there is a heap of competition out there, this can be one way of reducing some of the noise to help your property stand out. Now, the next method is local marketing, okay? These are like your signs and your letterbox drops. Signs are essential and are generally standard procedure, so a sign out the front of your property. Very standard if you are advertising or listing with an agent. This way, all the locals and everyone else knows that goes past that the property is for sale or for lease. You might have all the online ads in the world, but when someone drives by after work, they might just miss your place if you don't have a sign out the front. Leaflet drops, so that's a note in people's letterbox, it's often called a letterbox drop, are a sure way to get the neighbours interested. And it's not just your neighbours that you're reaching out to, it's their friends, it's their family, and it's people that might be moving into the area. And the fourth way is your agent. Last, but certainly not least, is your agent's ability to advertise. Now, I'm not talking about them advertising through all of the methods we just discussed. If you're paying them, they'll be doing all of that sort of advertising on your behalf already, or should be. And absolutely, if you are selling the property yourself, you won't have an agent, but if you do, they'll have a variety of other ways that they can help promote your property. So what I'm talking about here is actually database subscribers and social followings and other networks that they've formed over the years. Word of mouth is a really powerful form of advertising, and agents have a lot of connections that they can reach out to promote your property. So how do you get the right mix of this advertising? There are so many options, right? So advertising isn't cheap. So it's important that you do get it right from the start. So investing in a property advertising is not a question of if, but how much. To be able to answer this question, you need to look at what sort of buyers you're hoping to attract. So for example, if you're going to be after those who live locally, then you'd absolutely want to be doing a letterbox drop. Of course, this won't be the only people you're targeting. After all, your potential buyers aren't just locals that live in the area and love the area, right? So the biggest way to maximise the interest and the competition when people are fighting for your amazing renovated property is to reach out to as many potential markets where your buyers are as possible. And that's where these types of advertising and these types of mixed advertising methods are absolutely phenomenal to draw attention to your property. And the more attention you get, the more likely you are to reach your profit goals with your end sale price. So when you're looking at all these different advertising options, make sure you keep your potential buyers in mind, and you'll have a winning advertising strategy in no time at all. Thanks for joining me. Did you know I wrote a book all about renovating to create wealth and freedom in your life? I've added the link below in the description for you. Enjoy.